Got these last little bit of succulents to plant on the hillside. It's the last ones I have left over. They're getting pretty scrappy looking now, but these are going to be my nursery bed to make new ones for new planters. So I've got to get those done. So here goes. So around the back. Coming up over to this side of the house, the opposite side from my rock bed. And this is up another hillside. So it's up there at the top where the lilies are that I'm going to plant this. Now alongside here we have a drain going down to carry off water away from the basement. But here near where the air conditioner is, I have a rock bed. It's topped with lilies, more boulders, and I've put a lot of my succulents in here. But as you can see, the person who installed this used landscape fabric. And that's really bad, because all that does is just make a nasty barrier to have to deal with. So I'm going to cut some of this away to plant my plants in. So it goes all the way around there. I hope you can see in the glare of this sun. I need to deadhead some of those lilies, but this side is what curls around to the front of the house and to my beds. So we're going to work today on the long slope on this side. Now we have a special assistant today who's going to help me record this video. I strapped the camera to the gas meter, so that'll hold it, and it seems like I was out of shot a lot, but unfortunately that's how this one was filmed. Looks like I'm filming for some kind of a hair color product. Definitely need that appointment at the beauty shop for some new hair color. But anyway, what I'm doing is planting that box of succulents that I brought from my home. If you read the post that I've written about to accompany this video, these are the last ones that I have 2 months later still in a cardboard box that I brought from the old home that we moved from. I did pull a lot of the hens and chicks and everything from boxes and planters and brought those with me. And they had a lot of dirt surrounding them and clumps attached to them. So before I insert them, I'm getting rid of a lot of this landscape fabric. I just have some garden shears and I'm just kind of cutting it away at ground level, because as you saw earlier in the video, it's exposed a lot. It's just out there on top. It looks tragic. I hate it. And it doesn't protect from weeds. I would say perhaps the first season maybe, but after that, seeds have fallen down on it. You know, animals, insects have brought in pollen, seeds, things like that, and it just grows weeds anyway, so there's no point to that. Now if you were just containing a load of boulders or something like that, perhaps, you know, you'd feel the need to put that over an area of land. I don't like it. I don't want it. So what I'm doing is separating my hens and chicks and the clusters. I think I mostly had coral carpet and a tiny little bit of the Hispanicum left in this box. And basically I'm just pulling it apart and inserting it into the soil in these ridges where the landscape fabric was cut away. And then I am pushing the rock a little bit over into it just to kind of help anchor everything until it does pull roots down and get established here. Since it is such an incline, it's probably, I don't know, maybe a 30-degree, 40-degree incline here. It's pretty steep. It drains real well. It drains all the way from the top of the hill and on down, and so it keeps it pretty dry up here. So that's why I'm hopeful that my sedum and hens and chicks will work really well for this area, and the gravel can be a mulch. Now later on, I have decided that I want to get some more boulders because I want to continue the rock garden look, but these will just need to be more flat boulders that I kind of want to wedge into the side of the hill. See how slippery it is? I'm slipping there in the gravel. It's just too hard to walk on. I think if I had some boulders wedged into here, in a way kind of making a shelf for me to walk on, then it would be easier to get into the different levels. Sort of almost a stepping stairway to come down through, but just for my plants. Now I did record this with audio, however, the noise of the air conditioner, which I'm practically standing right next to, just got so noisy that I ended up having to just mute that out and just go ahead to talk over it. But I think it's almost self-explanatory. I can see a lot that I've wedged into the rocks has grown just since we've been there the last 2 months. It's gotten wedged in between those boulders up higher toward the lilies. I think it's looking really, really good. Now I'm having to cut away more of that landscape fabric as it sticks up out of the ground. You can see that there. It's just really ridiculous. Cutting away landscape fabric. See what a lot of good that did as far as keeping the weeds. It's just stupid. I'd rather heave up some rocks than to have that stuff. Now I'm going to wedge a few more of the hens and chicks in here. I'm just kind of individually separating them one by one and putting them into little pockets here and there where they can go into the soil but yet be protected and held slightly above soil level by the rocks and gravel. This is kind of smooth river rock over here. It's not the gritty, I don't know, kind of slatish type rock that might crunch together and be a better walking surface. This round gravel is just murder to walk on. But everything is growing pretty well. I'm real pleased with how it looks. We have some little pockets of moss here and there, and that grows well among succulent plants. They can coexist. because moss grows either in dry or moist conditions. In my experience, I have a lot of rock around the succulents that grows moss on it, even though it's kept dry. Looks really pretty when it gets moist and wet and you have a damp week, but I can grow them together easily. Let's see. I have a really good crevice right here under the larger boulder to dig in some of the hens and chicks that I have that have a really deep root already. So I'm going to wedge those in. I think that'll work out real well right in that particular spot. And all the tiny bits and pieces that are left over of succulents that are in the box here, where they've crumbled and come apart, each of those little tiny pieces and edges and branches, just drop them on the ground. They'll wedge down between a rock and other pieces of gravel, and they'll make a new plant. I've done it a lot of times. As I've said, succulents are so easy to grow and will just lie there in a box and wait for you to plant them. They're a perfect plant for me. Well, thank you, Mr. Assistant, for helping me hold that camera. I didn't get the shot much, but it works out okay. Let me show you how everything looks so that you can get a good view of what everything looks like, and we'll see. Got this finished for the most part for all the plants that I have right now. So we got our downhill tumble that comes around from the front lawn down on this northern side of the house. And I've got the succulents and hens and chicks put in there. And I've cut out a whole lot of landscape cloth. We still have a lot of car crashes over in there. It's where my grandson likes to play and destroy his little gift cars. I guess he's going to be an insurance specialist studying car crashes and their effects when he grows up. Yeah, look at these little accidents waiting to be investigated. He is a little kid turning into a big kid. But as you can see, we have a lot of casualties. Looks like the bed of a little pickup truck. But I'm going to have to keep the rocks kind of picked out of the lawn a little bit. But basically, that'll be all the upkeep over here. And I will get some larger rocks and boulders to kind of anchor this in, because I don't want this coming out into the lawn any farther, barring the car crashes. But he loves to crash him and tumble him down the hill. I may further cut out some more of the weed, but everything seems to be draining real well right now, so we'll just not look a gift horse in the mouth. I think it looks pretty decent.